Alrighty, and we are live. My name's Isaac. I'm the co-founder at Pet Summits and the host of the Pet Care Report. The mission of this show is to connect pet parents and with the leading pet experts, brands, and products to discover the latest innovations, trends, and essential products for optimal pet care. Today's live episode 13 of the Pet Care Report. We're very excited to have a very special guest. The second generation owner of Hare-Today, Ashlee Luke. Ashlee was the major sponsor of our Raw Dog Food Summit. Hare-Today is a US family-owned company on 40 acres of farmland where they grow their own stock and source the majority of their meat sources from local farmers. Quality proteins are the foundation to making their great products, and animal welfare is the utmost importance to them. Today, Ashlee is going to talk to us about why the source of their meat products is so beneficial for our dog's health and how to start transitioning to a species-appropriate diet. So thank you, Ashlee. We really appreciate you coming on board today. To everyone out there in America, happy Thanksgiving for tomorrow, I believe.
Yes.
I know Ashlee's having some turkey now, so I'm sure everyone else there in America is having some turkey. It's been a while since we've chatted. I've been traveling around the world, and we've had a lot of events going on. I'm currently sitting in Bali right now. We've had a few events. We had the Dog Anxiety Summit. I think that's the last time we spoke, and then we did the Raw Dog Food Summit. And we did with Dr. Ian Billinghurst, the father of raw feeding, again, essentially what you could say. And then we had the Dog Nutrition Summit with Dr. Judy Morgan, which was an amazing event. Regarding the Raw Dog Summit, we were very fortunate to have you as one of the major sponsors. And just to kick things off, can you tell us a little bit more about I believe it was your mum that originally founded Hare-Today, and I'd love to learn, and I'm sure the audience would love to learn a little bit more about what was it about Hare-Today, or why she wanted to start the company.
Yeah, thank you. That was such a humbling introduction, and we were so excited to be, approached to be a sponsor for Pet Summits. We love everything that you guys are doing. Such reputable veterinarians and acclaimed people that are part of the Pet Summit. So thank you so much for the information and the education that you're bringing to pet guardians. So thank you for what you're doing as well. My mom started Hare-Today Gone Tomorrow over almost 23 years ago in 99. So it was some time ago. In about 2017, I joined the family business. So I've been working for Hare-Today almost 7 years, and so humbled to be part of the family business. So when Mom started the business so many years ago, I was just a teeny bopper, and I remember fighting for the internet with her as she was researching our boxer, Brandy. She had cancer, and that's what led my mom to research why would a dog have cancer. So that was many years before the raw feeding, really was well established in our country, in the world even. That's kind of what started her flame per se. And I have many memories of hearing the internet at the time when you pick up the phone and you're trying to call your friend and it's beeping at you, and
the dial-up cable.
Yeah, dude, I'm probably aging myself, but yeah, absolutely. So those were the beginning days that I remember, and I'm like, what are you doing? And it really just didn't make sense to me at the time, but the more I'm grounded in our creators' ideal, feeding a species appropriate diet, the more I'm grounded in a good understanding of what our animals should be fed. So that was kind of the beginning of Hare-Today.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was actually having a conversation with Dr. Ian Billinghurst yesterday, and he was kind of like, was like, how did Pet Summits come about? And I was just telling him, I was like, well, when we were researching ourselves about the industry, what was going on in the industry, we were really blown away. This is the first time we ever known what was going, and this is about 2 years ago, what was going on in the pet food. And this, we were like, I think one of the things, and it might have been Farmer's Dog, was where we got a lot of the information from. And they started talking about how that there were euthanized pets that were put into our pet food. The meat from the groceries were still in the plastic, we're just thrown into a cooker, and we're just like, oh my God, I can't believe we're giving this to our dogs. And that's why we founded Pet Summits. And I had no idea about raw feeding. But then I was told them, because my family in New Zealand grew up on a farm, we fed our dogs. I think you just dropped out. You still there? Ashlee, well, there she is.
About that.
We fed our dogs raw food in New Zealand on the farm, but not actually intentionally doing it. It's just like, well, they got the offcuts from the animals because the beef farm, so there was like that's what they got, and they were we're not intentionally. And Ian's just like, yeah, because that's just what they were designed to do. And I'm like, yeah, it's and we were kind of like blown away by, and he one of his things is about simplicity, and he feels like so much everyone's getting confused. And I guess that kind of goes into what you guys like. What is about Hare-Today? If you were to say, like, how is Hare different compared to the other companies that would be out there in the industry, and what is essentially your point of difference?
Yeah, that's a great question. So a lot of the major pet food companies are balanced and complete. So Hare-Today, we make pet food components that are not necessarily balanced and complete according to AFCO standards. So with that, we do have organs, we have meat, we have bone, excuse me. We have combinations of those. We have pre-model grinds, we have whole grinds. We have such a variety of different pet components that the pet guardian can really choose exactly what they're feeding their animals. And working alongside the Pet Summits and reputable vets, that really allows us to help bring education to our pet guardians so they're not feeding an incomplete diet, because that is not our goal. We know that raw food can be expensive, and choosing a raw diet is a goal for optimal health and wanting our animals to thrive. And so feeding an incomplete diet is not the goal. So balancing that is very important. But that's what kind of sets us aside from other companies, is that we're not balanced and complete, but we give you all of the components, or we actually walk you to resources, education, so that you can create a raw food diet that is not only balanced and complete, but also within budget, which is super, super important to us and is part of my mission.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people, when we were doing the Raw Dog Summit, a few of my friends are reaching out to me, and they've got bigger dogs. I've just got a little French Bulldog, so it's pretty easy to keep him under budget. But people with a bigger dog was like, how do we feed according to a budget? And it sounds like we can't, as a pet parent, we overcomplicate things for ourselves, and we think that every meal needs to be nutritionally balanced. I can hear your dog in the background. Which is, we are a pet company, and that's what happens. Every meal needs to be nutritionally balanced, but we don't do that for ourselves. And we get for the novice people, anyways, like myself, we get kind of like what the word is, kind of built up in where we're like, oh, we're doing the right thing, and everything becomes overwhelming. And I think simplicity seems to be a big thing. With your products Hare-Today, like what would be some of the things that is really different about the way that you source your ingredients, and what's so important about the sourcing of the ingredients of your food, and why is that getting these components of the organs where you guys are from, what your food source creates and how that's beneficial.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, that's Remy in the background. When it's dark, she tends to bark at everything, anything that moves. Her brother's outside. We have a doggy door, so they go in and out freely. We have the electrical fence around several acres in our property, so she's probably barking at her brother out there, like, "What are you doing? There's snow on the ground." Nonetheless, we're in Northwest Pennsylvania. That's what you get. So that's just Remy barking. Yeah, so back to your question, sourcing. So that's super, super important, right? So working with local farmers is really, really near and dear to my heart. We have a rabbit breeder program that is very important to the success and well-being of our company, as well as to the animals that we feed. I am super excited to work with farmers. I have an About Us on our website that people in my community can jump on, fill out information piece, and tell me exactly how they're raising their animals. I do home visits and look at the health and the humanely treating of animals. So that's super, super important to me and is at the foundation of what I do. We also work with a 7 generations, they might be 8 generations now, of beef farmers. So that's really excited. Remy, come over here and say hello. Come here. Come here. Come on. She's like, I don't know if I want to be in there. You're nervous. I'm nervous. So that's Remy. But and Tucker did come in. So
so they just wanted to be on. They just wanted to be live as well. Yes. Yeah, I get it. I get
it. So yeah, that's super important, and that disclosure is really, really important to me. I think that's another reason of why people do relate to us, is because I try to put as much of that information on our website as possible. So you can click on our About Us, our rabbits. You can see exactly how they're raised. I try to get pictures of the primary caregivers. Many of them are families that are spending a ton of time with these animals.
Why rabbit? Why of all the meat sources that you could have gone for, why did you choose rabbit?
Yeah, that's a great question. When my mom started the business, my stepfather is super, super clever. He came up with Hare-Today, Gone Tomorrow. Whenever I took on the business, we dropped the Gone Tomorrow, just keeping Hare-Today just for tax purposes. But the hair in Hare-Today was super important because that is such a novel protein. So animals that have allergies and things of that nature, sensitivities, typically do very well with rabbit. So that's one reason. Another reason is if you've ever heard the old wives' tale of rabbits breeding quickly, that is surely a thing.
Yes, it is.
So I think as we move forward in this day and age, farming is going to become even more difficult. Sourcing food for ourselves, let alone our animals, is something that we have to continuously be mindful of. Butchering is really becoming a lost art. The butchers in our area are getting older. There are, next generation family members that don't want to get involved. It's not a glamorous life that we live. It's really hard, and I try to stay very grounded and appreciative for the animals' lives that go into our products. That's so very important. But it's really something that's, I think, going to be challenging. So that's going to be hopefully one way that we can also stay diversified in our business. I would love to open a USDA butchering facility alongside our pet food business. I think that could be really beneficial, not only for our local farmers, but also for our pet food business, to make sure that supply stays local and it stays available, because if COVID taught me anything, it's keeping sourcing local.
Yeah. What I hear is, the good one thing is, and as a business owner, and you do see some companies out where they start. I've just seen on LinkedIn, and where there's been some really good food companies, and then they've been brought out by some like companies like Mars, and then you're like, well, what's going to happen now? Like, are they going to stay true to the ethics that company was founded upon? And I think keeping locally sourced is good for our animals, but also good for the people that work on the farms. Because I'm a city kid. My family had farms, and my uncle had a farm, and he retired because his kids didn't want to take over it because they didn't want a part of it, because it's not an easy life.
Right.
So thank you to all the farmers out there. And I know, and you're right, the butchers, like even in Australia, where I was living before I moved to Bali, the local butcher was great, and we had a lot of organic, and it's a smaller town. But when my mum lives in Sydney, which is a bigger metropolitan city, trying to find organic meat was just like from the butchers, just like what? It was so, and I'm like, I was blown away. It's just like Sydney's like one of the biggest cities. Like, how can there not be more organic? And if it is, they're just like charging because it's in the trendy area, so they're charging through the roof for it. It's just like it's crazy. So I guess like kind of like for parents that are looking to transition over to raw, what are some of the ways that we can what's the best advice that you would give to help pet parents?
Yeah, that's a great question, and one I get often. My philosophy might be different than yours. It's really going to be dependent on how comfortable the pet guardian is, to be quite honest, the health of that animal. I've always been very successful with cold turkey, transitioning for dogs, allowing a 12-hour fast in between, and then going right into, for cats, we can't do that fasting so much. They need that nutrition a little bit more frequent. So, and it's real, like I said, that comfortability and the health of the animal is really going to drive that. If you decide, hey, I'm going to transition from a kibble to raw, expect that there's going to be dietary changes, just like if you or I, changed from a meat diet to a all vegetarian, or a vegetarian all to a meat diet. We're going to see some differences in our stool, and how we're feeling maybe. So all of that's going to be true in our animals as well. So if I was going to transition, I would probably make sure it was a weekend if it was from a kibble face to a raw. Sometimes for cats, you can do more of a wet food and then to a raw. Some cats and some dogs, if they're older, they're not going to necessarily recognize raw food as food. If they've been kibble fed their whole life, it's really a junk food for them, and they're just going to walk away, not know what it is. I've seen many picky cats in particular. Yeah, dogs, you can use a little bit of tough love. But
Yeah, my sister's cat, he is very particular, I would say. That's the word.
That's a good way of putting it.
Okay.
So for those guys, I do a little bit slower of a transition. You can do like 90% their current food, 10% raw, and gradually increase that as you go, as they start recognizing raw food as food.
I think that's a great little tip for people that are looking to transition to raw feeding. I guess we got a few people here on live with us right now, and I'm going to open up to everyone that is here. And first of all, thank you to everyone around the world that has attended. That's coming up today. This will stay live. The recording will be on YouTube and Facebook. So the first question, we have T from Texas. T has asked, Ashlee, will you start carrying freeze-dried protein again? This is by far their cat's favorite food, and they love to continue feeding it.
Yeah, that's a great question. We love our freeze-dried product line as well. We've had quite a journey with freeze-dried. So why did we start carrying freeze-dried is where I would probably start the conversation. So we started our freeze-dried product line for emergency purposes, for traveling, because water is so essential to carry nutrition throughout the body. That's one difference you'll see in our freeze-dried product line is we grind it to almost a powder form to really encourage folks to rehydrate that product. Again, that water is super, super important for carrying that nutrition throughout the body. So we've had some challenges with space. I purchased kind of a lemon machine that has given me a lot of challenges, to say the least. I really wanted to support a U.S. company that was right in New York, and we bought a commercial size freeze dryer, and it's given me nothing but problems. So we do have two smaller, large freeze dryers, but the cycle takes 40 hours, and I
Oh,
only get
wow.
about 10 to 12 8-ounce bags out of it. So that creates quite a challenge to meet supply and demand, but we still keep them going, and we love to have it, like I said, for that emergency or traveling purpose.
Might be time for an upgrade. It sounds like it. It's
Yeah, and space availability. Yeah. So
yeah. All right. Well, thanks for that. We have a question here from Lauren. Lauren is she says that the cat loves your venison. She would love to know if you could talk a little bit about how they are raised.
yeah, so venison is one product that we do get from New Zealand. That is one that we do not source from America. We do have chronic wasting disease, CWD in America, which can be a concern. We do not source any wild proteins, so we only source like USDA quality meats or locally farmed. So venison is one that we do source outside for those reasons.
Yeah, well, they breed everything well in New Zealand. I won't lie.
I hope to visit one day.
It's well, fortunately, everything has opened up. Well, I'm pretty sure they have opened up. It's been a couple of years since I've been back because they were closed. But yes, that's we won't talk about that stuff. Let's see. If there's anyone else that has a couple of questions, we have a little bit more time. So like, feel free to pop in your question now while we do have Ashlee's time with us. There, there's more noise. Let's see. So have we got anything else here? That's that. By the way, we do feed in raw. Okay, someone's just talking about raw feeding. Well, it doesn't look like anyone else has any other questions. I guess for people listening, where can they go and source your products from?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we only do direct to consumer. So that's all through our website. And that's www.hare-today.com, HARE-today.com. So again, we're direct to consumer. I don't do any wholesale. That allows me to keep prices as low as possible for all customers. Again, that goes to our mission. I wear a lot of different hats throughout the day. So if you ever have any questions, our 1-800 number goes right to me. You'll speak with the owner, which you don't see in a lot of other companies. So when you email, you'll talk to me. Sometimes I do have assistants, but right now it's just me handling all of our customer correspondence. So I really do know and care about the ins and outs of our company so much. We are, a small family business. So my husband works alongside of us as much as I can get my boys to work alongside of us. I do, of course, abiding by child labor laws, of course. But yeah, they're wonderful. So yeah, we're really humbled. One of my things that I wrote down in preparation for our conversation today was my mom was such a strong, brilliant woman, and I know that I can be strong and independent sometimes too, but we have really great men behind us, not only our husbands, but the people that work for us. So I just want to give them a shout out, that I thank them for all of their hard work. Like I said, this is not a glamorous job. It's not an easy job, but we're humbled to do it. And I love sharing all of the praises and testimonials that I get from our customers. That's really the heartbeat to our business. When we can help an animal have health and wellness, that is everything to us. So keep sharing those testimonials, and I will keep sharing them with our staff as well. So that's, yeah, really important, and wanted just to give a shout out to them too.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that, Ashlee. And someone just made a comment which I think would be good. Like, what when it talks about the nutrient profiles that are on your website regarding to the bone to meat ratios. Are you able to quickly explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned, we have a variety of different products, 265-ish. Some of those just different product sizes, but a lot of them are just organs only or meat or only, meaty bones, whole prey, etc. So organs is really simple. You'll have your secreting organs, which is going to be 100% organ. You're going to have your muscle meats that are organs as well, but those are considered meat percentages, such as your heart. Because that's a muscle meat, that's actually considered in your meat percentage. And then bone is bone, of course. So that comes from the USDA database, as well as I have done my own specific testing, butchering animals and finding consistencies between the meat to bone to organ ratios.
Okay, cool. Well, I think that was pretty, and that was thank you for Jennifer, who suggested us to ask that question, because yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't know that. I do not see much spleen on the website. Is there much spleen on the website?
No, because it's such a small organ, I include it in my tripe grind. So my green tripe is included with the spleen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. That answers answers that question. Well, we're almost out of time, so I just want to thank you again for sponsoring the Raw Dog Food Summit. We were blown away by how much feedback that we had from our customer database. They really loved the Raw Dog Food Summit. We've heard so much about your amazing company, and it is really hard to survive in the world today as a small business and working on a farm, and it's not pretty work. So thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for your family and all your family and all the team members out there and your team that are bringing this amazing food to the people in America. So thank you so much, and not just to the people in America, because I think your page, even though people can't buy your food from around the world, your site does have a lot of great resources of information for people that are just wanting to further educate themselves. And I guess that's some of the reasons why we created Pet Summits, because a lot of the information out there was really kind of confusing or not deep enough. And I think your website really does kind of cater for those people that like to read a lot more and get dive into that. So thanks a lot for everything you do. I wish you all the best. I wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. And that is us from the Pet Summits.
Thank you.